to another episode of Modern Block. Thank you for joining me today. So, round 3 picks are up. Whew, tournament's flying past, I cannot believe it. Before we get into it, please comment, share, like, subscribe, all those good things down below. So yes, first game's up, talking about is the France-USA game. This is an interesting one. They haven't really played in recent memory, so it's tough. And obviously this is an important game for France to just kind of set their dominance. They had a good game against Argentina. USA on the other hand had a poor game against England, and I think they're going to hope to recover from it. But unfortunately, I didn't see a lot there that tells me they're going to. So I'm actually, this is a tough pick because I'm not sure if they're going to get a dribbling of 38 like they did previously. And I'm not sure, obviously, the difference between the level of France and Argentina. But going on some just kind of like opinions of the results on that, I'm going to go for about 25. I think that's fair. 25 to France. I think that the French are going to try and definitely get their bonus point here. Every bonus point in this group is essential. But I feel USA probably will have a slightly better performance. The French have had a good rest, and I think they might play some bench players and just do a little bit more experimenting, and that could lead to just a slightly lower margin, but I don't think it's going to trouble the French at all. If this is a big upset, it'll be massive for USA, and it'll really put a spanner in the French work, so I don't think they're going to take any massive chances. Next up, Canada against New Zealand. Hoo-wee. Interestingly enough, both of the North American teams playing in close to one another again. But anyway, the Canada-New Zealand game is a tough one. They played in 2011 World Cup, and it was a 79-15 victory to New Zealand, if it wasn't a shock already. So, and I don't, in my opinion, I'd say that's probably pretty a good range to look at. I've got a feeling New Zealand obviously going to put, they haven't released their team yet as of this filming, but I feel like they're going to be a lot of changes. I don't think Bowden Barrett will be in there. But I think a lot of their heavy hitters won't be in the team. But to be fair, everybody in New Zealand's 31 are heavy hitters, so I don't think it's going to affect the scoreline much, just like for South Africa against Namibia. So I'm going to go with New Zealand by 60. It's a similar margin. Rugby forecast has gone by 50. I feel it's going to be even higher than that. I feel, considering that South Africa did 54 to Namibia. Similar, Namibia in my opinion is better performance than what Canada did, and that's kind of where I'm gauging my results from. But New Zealand definitely have a much stronger try-scoring team over South Africa. It's a fact. They know how to get tries out of nowhere, and even if they're not trying, they're still probably going to score tries. So that's why I definitely think 60 is a fair bet. These games, definitely first few games, especially the midweek games, are all about margin. It's the focus point is the margin, because you most likely should get the winning right, but these margins can affect your SuperBru or any fantasy game quite a bit. Okay, then Georgia-Fiji, next game up. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one, because we've obviously had the Uruguay upset from last week. Georgia then go and drib Uruguay. And obviously everybody, like world rankings and all those kind of things, Fiji should win this. But there's so many things here. The Georgian performance this weekend was really, really strong, especially the second half. To be fair, it was a Uruguayan side that wasn't very, very confident, and they definitely started to lose confidence when they couldn't get back the lead. So it's tough to say, but considering the fast-pacedness, the Fiji definitely fall off at the end of the games, it seems. They don't have the fitness they need. 2CPC concerns me. He's just not getting the points he needs, and he's playing in this game. Most likely. So those all are very concerning factors in my opinion. And this is obviously an essential game for both of these to win. This effectively decides who's third in this pool. A must-win, must-happen thing for both. But I'm going to give it to Georgia. I know it's a relatively quick turnaround to this game for the Georgians compared to the Fijians, but the Georgians, I feel, their set piece, and if they can pull their set piece up like they did in this last game, to be fair, it's tough to gauge. But I think that's where Uruguay beat the Fijians, is they just had a much more consistent line-out and scrum, but yet their scrum was demolished by the Georgians. So I'm going to do Georgia by 5. This is a tough one, but Georgia by 5 is a really, really, is my opinion. Let's see how it goes. Maybe Fiji fixed their name, like they really just improved, but it's a tough one. I think they're going to be focusing more on that Wales game to really up their World Cup results, in my opinion. Cool. The Ireland-Russia game next up. In my opinion, Ireland, I know that they just lost, but I still think they're going to be doing a massively changed side for this. It's a relatively quick turnaround again also on this game. And the Irish obviously are hurting, but I don't think they're going to change their plans. Their plans were always to most likely field a field a lot of their reserves in this game, blood them, give them some chance playing time as they've been practicing this whole time, and obviously want a raring to go. So the last time they played was a demolishing by Ireland 62-12 in 2011. So it kind of gives you a gauge of where the ranking here is. But the fact of the matter is, Ireland, I still think they're going to beat them comfortably to get their product. Obviously going for a bonus point, but the fact they're going to be spending a large B-string side most likely, just because of the turnaround, and obviously I think that the overall plan of the tournament, I'm going to go by 30. I know some people feel they might go and drib them to give them back confidence, but this is not the game to do that. I mean, there's other games, and it's not the end of the tournament. This is all about just sticking to the plans going forward, and obviously resting players, because most likely, if all goes currently to plan, they'll be facing New Zealand in the quarters. Yeah, that's how I think it's going to play out now. Then South Africa, Italy on Friday. Obviously, South Africa did lose to Italy in 2016. It wasn't exactly a great situation. It was 18-20. So yeah, I don't know where the gauge is here. It's going to be a tough one. But obviously, since then, the average result is effectively 19 points to South Africa. So I think that's a good place to start. To be fair, though, I think South Africa are going to be fielding their strongest side possible in this game, as this is a must-win game. There is the confidence from the previous win will also help them a lot. To be fair, Italy's got 2 very confident wins under their belt already, sitting with 2 bonus points, pretty on the top of the pool. But this game, I think, is a stretch too far, and I don't think they're going to do it. Like before, so forecast gone for 24. I'm going for 25. I think that's the safe bet. I think they're going to do a little bit more than what they would have done in previous games, as this is a must-win game. South Africa's going to be fielding the top side they can and really trying to get the bonus point out of this, and that's where I think it's going to end up. Australia, Uruguay. I feel for the Uruguayans. It's not a full week's rest again. Relative close, but not there yet. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Australia obviously are hurting from the Wales game. They want to bring back that bonus point, and I've got a feeling that they're going to do it. They last played in 2015 and they got 65-3 win over them. So yeah, Australia definitely have the upper hand here, and considering the performance against Georgia, I feel for the Uruguayans it's going to be a tough game to endure. They just don't have the set. They just don't have the set piece to take on the Tier 1 nations, and who saw Fiji. The Fiji game, Fiji doesn't focus on set pieces, and they got Fiji to play their style. I don't think Australia is going to fall into that trap. And some hard runners from Australia, and definitely a little bit of revenge in their eyes, is going to make this game quite interesting. But I've gone for 36, as I think that's a fair bet. It's the same as what Robbie Forecast has gone for. I don't think Australia is going to be fielding a full strength team, although I'd love to see Samoa play again. I think he's quite a prospect for them and really, really doing well. But I don't think the likes of Pocock or Hoop will be playing, as they had big games this weekend. So I don't think they're going to drib them 65-3 like they did previously, but it will be quite a comfortable victory, considering that, 30 points win for Georgia today, or almost 30 points win for Georgia today. So I assume Australia will do quite a bit more than that. But I've got a feeling they're going to pretty much get the bonus and then sub a bunch, and they won't be able to pull much further away than that. That's my opinion. Although, to be fair, they could get to 50. So think about that if you feel how that goes there. We got the Japan-Samoa game next. The Japan-Samoa game is interesting. This is a must-win. It's a huge one. Japan, obviously coming off of the high of their previous victory against Ireland, will want to definitely see if they can even secure a bonus here. They do not want the history of having 3 games and still not going through like they did in the last World Cup. They're going to be gunning for this game and really taking them on. So I just am concerned a little bit about that. The Samoans are strong runners. They had a good game against Russia, really good. And I feel Japan play as strong as the team they're facing. So I don't imagine Japan are going to beat them heavily. They beat a team, especially your Tier 1 teams, they match them up and they force them to play their style. And when they get that right, they'll beat them just. So to be fair, strategy, win is a win. It doesn't matter how much you win by. They've last played in 2015, 26-5 to Japan, although it has been a little bit of a seesaw between the two teams. I wouldn't say that Japan are shoo-ins for this at all. It's going to be a very tough one, and they need to get over this win over Ireland as the tournament still continues, and I hope that they realise that. But that said, Japan by 7, I think, is a safe bet. I think that's pretty much where it's going to sit. So I hold thumbs that they can pull that, and it'll be interesting to see. Then the France-Tonga game. France-Tonga game. France did lose in 2011 to Tonga, so I wouldn't put it past the Tongans. They had a pretty good game against Argentina. They really did deliver in the second half. I know that it ran away from them and they just slowly picked up, but it was nice to see from the Tongans. They definitely have put themselves on this tournament a lot more than everybody thought, considering the New Zealand game. So, that's interesting. But to be fair, 38-18 in recent times, 2015 World Cup. So it's not like there's a consistent victory from Tonga's side. It's not like they're a thorn in their side. But I'm going to go for France here by about 25. 25, I think, is a fair bet. They're going to definitely try and get their bonus point out of this, playing as hard as they can. They do technically have a relatively quick turnaround in their game, so most likely we'll be fielding some of their bench players. But in your Tier 1 nations, even your bench is very, very strong. And I don't see them being hiccuped too much about this. The only question mark being, can they keep it going for the full 80 to make sure they can pull that kind of lead above? So we'll see. Then New Zealand, Namibia. New Zealand, Namibia is an interesting one. I've put the games on the order here. The last game's coming now, so focus. The New Zealand, Namibia, I assume it's going to be a similar 60-point. There's not much to say about this game, except for New Zealand will also, I feel a much, I feel they're going to feel pretty much a similar side to they play against Canada, except for the fact that I think they will be starting to blood in some players and test out some strategies. So I feel here this game is going to be a lot more about getting tries on the board. So that's why I've kind of given similar scores. I think Namibia are slightly stronger than Canada at the moment. We will see about upcoming games. But that's kind of where I think it's going to go. I don't see it being any much different to that. New Zealand are try-scoring machines, and that's just the way it's going to be. Probably the biggest game, one of the biggest games for the week, is probably the Argentina England game. So Argentina England, this is a must-win for Argentina. And Argentina are meant for the occasion. So I'm not going to put it past them that they could do a huge upset here. Wouldn't be an upset even, though, because Argentina are very strong. History between them is good. To be fair, England have won every game that they've played, so I'm not going to go against England. And Argentina haven't been firing on all cylinders in this World Cup. But there has been a lot of moments there. Sanchez, I feel, was weak, so I don't think that that's helping them. They need to look at that and see, because Sanchez was a pillar for them in the last World Cup. He's just not being able to bring the performances for them in this World Cup. So hopefully that can change in this game. If that can, good on Argentina. But I'm going to go for England here, and I'm going to go for England by 10. I think England aren't going to destroy them. They're not going to. They most likely are going to be trying to match them up front, and Argentina definitely have that ability to do that. England definitely dominated the USA by killing them in their set pieces, and Argentina, considering the World Cup state at the moment, I think they have actually had very good set pieces, so we'll be able to match them there. So I don't think they're able to dominate as much as they do with other teams, but I do think that around wide, the back three of England, and also obviously the strong Vunipola and Tulangi, all of them are really going to run hard at the Argentinian defense. But to be fair, this is a group of players who know how to face those kind of players. They play against New Zealand players regularly. They play against South African players regularly. Very similar builds and setups to how England's team performs. So I don't think it's going to be a massive victory, but 10 I think is fair. But that's the rounds for this week. Those are them picks. So let me know what you think, your opinions, anything you want to add to it. How do you feel I'm wrong? Do you feel the Georgia-Fiji game I'm wrong? Do you feel Argentina, England I'm wrong? Do you feel Namibia will upset New Zealand? All of those fun things. Please leave them down below. Comments and share. Thank you very much, guys.